Hello, this is Doug Slay. I'm talking to you today about things coming to our country and how we need to be prepared. And there's a lot of talk about preparation for coming events and so forth, but I'm talking to you about it from a little different angle, a little different aspect. I'm talking about being prepared spiritually for what's coming, and also to say that a lot of things that are coming, if we are spiritually strong, we can prevent or we can avoid. Now, we've seen this in the Bible, in the Old Testament and New Testament, but I'll cite an example in the Old Testament that shows how God can move even when bad times come. There's several occasions, but I'm choosing just one, the book of 2 Kings. There was a woman, and she was married, and her husband had a farm, or they was into agriculture. And on occasion, the prophet Elisha would but go by their house, and they would see him and probably feed him. Eventually, they built him a place. So on his journeys there, he could stop and have a place to stay. And there's a lot of miracles involved in this woman's life and her family. But the part of it that I want to talk about today, about coming events and how God, if you're spiritually strong and spiritually connected, you can have a word of warning and discerning and listen to the prophet. In other words, Elisha, the time came, he said to the woman, a famine is coming to this land where you are, and it's going to last for 7 years. Now, when you leave, take your family, and go where there's not a famine. And that also shows that famine and hard times are not just global, sometimes they're geographical, and they're isolated to particular places. So this woman heeded the word of the prophet, and she went where the famine was not. At the end of 7 years, she came back, because not only did the prophet prophesy that a famine was coming, but he gave it a time limit. And it was 7 years. And when the prophet word came to pass, that she came back, and when she came back, the famine is over. But the story doesn't end there. And it's a tremendous reading if you want to read it. But she goes to the king to ask for her property back, and Elisha's servant, at the very moment that she got there, was rehearsing with the king the testimony of this woman and set the stage. So the woman came and asked for her stuff back, and the king gave her back not only her property, but all the profit that it produced for 7 years of famine. You see, just because hard times come, or just because things are changing, if you're spiritually strong and spiritually connected, then you can know about it and you can avoid it. And if the church in a community or so forth, you can prevent things from happening. You can prevent judgment from coming. If you'll preach the word, if you'll stand in faith, if you'll rally the people to believe God, you can actually bind the strong man of a city. And listen to what the word of the Lord says. Listen to the prophet of God. Listen to the teaching. Believe the Bible, and things will change that appear to be unchangeable. Natural things has to conform to spiritual things. When spiritual power and spiritual authority is enforced, natural things have to change and conform to it. Now remember these few words. Remember these few words, and don't just bow to what it looks like is happening. Take your place, become spiritually strong, belong to a strong faith community where you know how to exercise authority, and God can either tell you to go someplace else, or he can change things where you are. Don't give up. Don't quit. Because when you're strong in the Lord, you're in charge. God bless you. And this is Doug Slay. Until next time.